Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be counting down the top 10 add-ons and weak auras that will make you a better raider in Phase 2. So these add-ons and weak auras will do a number of things. They will help you avoid stupid mistakes and overcome particular raid mechanics so you don't frustrate your raid leader. I've also got some useful tools for raid leaders like tracking particular things and helping with setting up boss fights. Now, some of these add-ons are really cheeky because they will help you to boost your DPS. Just very briefly, in case people don't know, Weak Auras is essentially a mothership add-on with loads of add-ons built into it, and you just have to import them off the Weak Auras website. And trust me guys, some of the best add-ons are basically just Weak Aura add-ons. So the first weak aura I have for you is Efficient Potion. Now what it essentially does is it will display a little potion reminder whenever it is the best time to use your potion. Obviously the best time to use a potion is precisely when you have missing mana equal to the amount of mana that the mana potion will provide back. Because obviously the more mana potions that you can use in a single fight means overall more mana efficiency in the entire fight. And this will also include demonic runes and dark runes into the mix. Just a little piece of advice, I prefer to make this add-on exceedingly big on my screen. I think the bigger and more obtrusive and irritating it is on my screen, the more likely I am just going to be like, right, I need to pop a potion right now. So it really just helped me remember to pop the potion. And obviously in combat you won't be able to see like all of the entire bar that you can see now. You will just see one little icon of whatever potion or demonic rune that you need to pop. Next I have a really useful raid tool called Maey's Auto Marker for TBC. What it basically does is you can preemptively set up the marks for whatever targets, whether it's trash mobs or particular mobs on boss fights, before you actually enter the raid. So as you can see here, it's actually already set up for you. You don't need to actually set it up unless you want to change it in whatever way. For instance, in the Phoenix Hall, the trash on Tempest Keep, everything is automatically set up. So all you have to do is click the mob and then it will automatically assign one of these marks. And everything is already set up, the second you install the add-on, and you can just customize it for whatever you want. Obviously it's normally the tank's jobs to do the marking, so I'd recommend for every single tank to download this weak aura to make your life so much more easier. You won't have to faff around marking, the targets every single week. Download this add-on, and all you have to do is click the mob, like target all the mobs, and it does it for you. It's great. The next weak aura I have for you is Tems SSC and Tempest Keep Pack. What this effectively does is, as you can see on the screen right now, there's a number of spell icons which are essentially just there to remind you of particular mechanics on every single boss fight in Phase 2. I would again recommend for you to make this bigger. Obviously all the icons that you can see on the screen now are not going to be active all at once. It's only on particular boss fights that you'll see like one or two of these big icons. I'd make them much bigger, and basically just helps you remember when certain things are happening. It makes you much more aware of what is going on in the raid. I personally think like Deadly Boss Mode is alright, but I think something like this is just like a little tip on the iceberg that makes raiding just that little bit easier for you. Because you can make it really big on the screen like this, and it has really useful stuff like this. As you can see, there's a kill totem thing here. Basically, it'll appear on the screen, you click it and automatically target a totem that you have to kill. And as you can see, there's an icon here telling you that you need to stay in a particular mechanic, you need to move out of a particular mechanic, or there's a particular ad that's about to spawn that will track when the ad is about to spawn. You've also got, reminders like when to trank shot, when to interrupt, when the mob has a spell reflect up, when you need to be interrupting, when you need to be stunning, and when you need to be purging. It even has little reminders for when you actually need to focus healing the tank. So yeah, this is a great weak aura to install, which will help you massively in Phase 2 raids. The next add-on I have for you is ClassicHealPrediction. What it basically does is implements a feature that's already in on retail, where you can actually see incoming heals on friendly targets, and it will display on your party frames and your raid frames, and it helps you to basically not be a crap healer. It helps you to not overheal a target. If a target's already getting healed by another healer, then you obviously don't need to heal it. And obviously it will tell you when a particular target is not being healed and therefore they need to heal. It will drastically improve your healing experience and make you a much better healer. Definitely recommend getting this add-on. I cannot live without this add-on as being, while being a healer. So guys, how many times have you started a fight and then realised halfway through the fight that you haven't popped your food buff, you haven't popped your flask? Well, luckily, there is a weak aura called Consumes, it's called Consume spelled incorrectly, at ReadCheck, that very simply, whenever there's a ReadCheck in your raid group, just above the ReadCheck, it will display little reminders for every single one of your consumables. So I think one of the hardest things for a raid leader to keep track of is the raid's interrupt cooldowns, because they're on fairly short cooldowns and many classes have them. But luckily there is an add-on called Group Interupts TBC and MD, which very simply will track the cooldown of every single possible interrupt. So we have stuff like Counterspell, Pummel and Kick, but then also particular stuns like Kidney Shot and Hammer of Justice, and then other things like tracking misdirection. Therefore, you can very easily see when particular people can interrupt, when they are not interrupting, when they are slacking, so they can give them a bit of a telling off, if you do a wipe and they do miss an interrupt. And then you can also keep track of when you literally cannot interrupt a particular enemy, so you can predict when there's going to be massive damage or a particular mechanic is not going to be dealt with. So guys, how many times have you heard this very simple sentence from a raid leader? What's the cooldown on Bloodlust? What's the cooldown on Shield Wall? What's the cooldown on Soulstone? And, things like that. Well, luckily, for every raid leader, there is a weak aura called TBC Party and Raid Cooldown Tracker, which will display the cooldowns on every single Shaman Bloodlust in your raid group, and then other things like Ankh and Soulstone and Shield Wall. You'll also track really useful stuff like Innovate, Battle Reses, Fear Wards, and even a Shaman's Mana Tide, so this is a very useful tool to just keep track of every other raid member's cooldowns. Probably one of the most frustrating mechanics in Phase 2 raids is throwing the Tainted Core. Okay, if you don't know, basically on the last 5 SSC, Lady Vash, you will sometimes loot an item called the Tainted Core, and you will have to basically, you can only walk a certain, few meters before you can't walk anymore, which means you have to throw it to another player so that they can deliver it to Lady Vash and, break her shield and everything like that. But without add-ons, you have to go into your bag, you have to click the bag and target, a friendly party member. And it can be very frustrating and, it can go a bit ski-whiff. Luckily, you can just very simply get this weak aura called Vash Tainted Core Tosser, which in context is not a swear word, by the way. Basically, on the screen you get a really big spell icon, and all you have to do is then target the party member and then just click it, and there you go, Bob's your uncle, you will throw the Tainted Core. Next, I want to talk about an add-on which everybody has, which is Details, but not many people know this, is it does actually have a threat plugin, so you don't have to go and install a new threat add-on, which obviously, the less add-ons you have installed the better, because it saves on memory and reduces lag and stuff like that. There is a plugin on Details which is called Tiny Threat, and all you have to do is link it out of Details, make a new frame, and there you go, Bob's your uncle, and just pop it under your DPS frame. And the last add-on is an all-time favourite. If you haven't downloaded it already, you really do need it. It's called GTFO. Very, very simple. Whenever you are standing in fire or any other mechanic that you need to stand out of, it will start beeping at you. A really irritating, consistent beeping until you get out of that mechanic and stop yourself from killing yourself. Another very useful element of this add-on, which I think goes unappreciated, is obviously sometimes when you're like doing a particular boss or whatever, other people in the raid group will be doing, Flame Strike on the ground or Consecration, and it's sometimes difficult to know when you're studying boss AoE or your mate's AoE, like a Warlock's AoE. So you can very easily use this add-on to distinguish whether you are standing in AoE that you should get out of, or AoE that you can just comfortably sit in because it's friendly AoE. By the way guys, in the future I am going to be making much more add-on and weak aura videos, because there's so many great weak auras out there that I think are massively unappreciated, and I think are very, very useful for each and every class in the game. So I'm going to probably go through every single class on a, making an individual video for every single class, displaying some of the, best weak auras that will massively help your gameplay, increase your DPS, make you a better tank, make you a better healer, you know, all of that jazz. And other cool add-ons which massively increase your convenience and quality of life. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end the video there. My name is MetaGoblin. To my next video, ciao.